Welcome back to another episode of Caps Cornerstore Convo, where we bring the corner store everywhere and anywhere in the 5 boroughs. I go by the name of Caps, and today I am with Mr. Lawrence Jansen. What's going on, my brother?
Nick, hey.
How's everything going?
Good, buddy.
Finally
did it.
Yeah, we did. We finally did it, man.
We did it.
Well, we finally did it.
Years in the making.
Yes. Listen, folks, this has been years in the making. I have a podcast called Sucker Free. It didn't align up. Then we're doing Caps Corner Store. Didn't align up, but today,
we're here.
A gorgeous,
beautiful. Look at this.
Who could have mapped it better than this?
I mean, you really made it to the top, pal.
We climbing. You know what I'm saying?
I knew you were gonna go to great heights.
So, folks, Lawrence is a very, 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 very talented actor. A very, 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 very talented connoisseur of the alcoholic beverages.
that I'll get behind. I am a very good drinker.
Yes, very. So give us a little background about yourself, Lawrence.
All right. Well, I'm originally from Philly, right outside of Philly, Delaware County. We got put on the map recently thanks to HBO show, you know. I moved to New York City 1998 now. Jesus. 1998, I came up here to go to school when I was 19. And I've been doing the acting thing for a while here. Living the dream, I guess.
There it is.
Got a yellow corduroy jacket, right?
Very Long Island City-ish.
What else is there?
Listen, we're rooftop living. Yeah. Why wouldn't you have a fucking yellow jacket? You know what I mean? Little Colorado joint.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. You know what's funny? So that means 98. That means you are officially... You got dual citizenship, man.
I've lived here longer than I have in Philly, which is crazy. It was, when you move here, right? You're a kid, all right, 2 years you're in New York. I'm like, all right, 2 years go by. Like, no, it's not 2 years, it's 5 years. I was like, all right, 5 years. Like, no, it's 10 years. After 10 years, like, all right, fuck you. Like, no, now you're a New Yorker, bro. You made it. I know when I yelled at my first person on the subway, I was like, oh shit, I think I just became a New Yorker.
Hey, listen, man, that's like one of the essentials.
Yeah.
You know, that's how you've made it.
Yeah.
Somebody flip you off, they give you the birdie.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. Or they look at you stupidly like you don't belong there. Like,
everybody looks at me stupid.
So Lawrence is an actor extraordinaire, theater. You've been on TV, you've been on an HBO series.
Uh-huh.
How did you get into acting?
All right.
What was it about acting that drew it in? Because for those who know you, you're a very charismatic dude.
Thank you.
A lot of times people find it hard to figure out what their niche is. So how did you know that acting was your niche, and what kind of got you into that?
All right, so it's my pop, really. I'm from Philly, blue collar family. My dad's one of 7, my mom's one of 5.
Gotcha.
My mom's an artist too. She's a seamstress.
Oh,
She's
nice.
Paints artist. My dad, he was a big personality, very different from a lot of the people back where I'm from. He stumbled into doing a play when he was in high school. He just went to watch because it was this big production thing. So he sat in the back,
right.
and the director was like, "You gonna come up?" And he was like, "I'll go up." And he went up and he got the show, and he did it. And then he did one play after that. But then he, had me when he was 22. He started working. He was, 5-6 days a week working. Gotcha. And I have a younger sister. She's a singer in Philly.
Okay.
So she started singing when she was young. So I called my pop out one day when I was out giving him estimates with him. And he says, I was like, Pop, I was like, you turned into your pop. And he's like, damn. So he's like, all right, I get involved. So he started coaching my football team. And then he did a play with my sister.
Oh, nice.
They did A Christmas Carol. He was Bob.
Hey.
He's like, you want to do it? I'm like, no way. I'm going to do it. So I go and see this show, and I'm in the audience, and it was wild, man. Just my first live play I've been to, and here's these people up on stage in front of me telling this story.
Right.
And I was blown away by it. So I'm sitting with my mom on stage for the curtain call, and my mom has these flowers. She goes, run these up on stage to your sister. I'm like, no. I was like, I'm 12 years old, right? I'm like, I'm not doing it.
Right.
She's like, get up there. I was like, all right. So I go up there late. The lights go down. I'm on stage. Now I'm on stage with all these actors in the dark with these flowers, looking for my sister and my dad. I get down these stairs. I'm in the green room. I'm like surrounded by all these people that I just saw on stage, and I was like, struck by it. And I was like, yo, Pop. I was like, next year. I was like, oh, sign me up, right?
Got you.
So the next year they do Oliver. So my dad, the day of the auditions, my dad's like, you ready for the audition? I'm like, what? I was like, I don't know. He's like, don't worry, we'll wing it, right? So I go in and I sing Happy Birthday. The worst rendition of you can't fuck that song up, right? I did it. I fucked it up because like all of a sudden now there's all these people around and I'm at a piano, so like I never sang on the piano, so I'm like trying to like follow this guy. I'm in my head with it, and the guy's just like, all right, well, you know what? You're a good-looking kid, you know? We'll make something up for you. I was like an added-in part of the thing. I was like a juggler's assistant. I just like juggled scarves on stage, you know? But I love being up there, and I was like, I had the personality and stuff. And then I remember the next year they did King and I. And I auditioned for a part. Now I got the lay of the land a little bit, and I got my first part with a name, the interpreter.
Hey.
And I did a little accent, which is probably wouldn't fly right now, 2021. But it was a choice at age 13, and like people were like, "Hey, man, there's a little something in this for you." And then I found I did have a little natural talent for it, and I started building up, and I started getting some big roles, and then I was playing some leads in high school, and I was like, I think this is it. I think it's my calling. So I started taking some serious acting classes in Philly, this Meisner technique. Right. And then I found out about their main school that was up in New York, and I, 19, picked up, came right up here, and here I am.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing because I grew up in New York City, like my whole life. And it kind of becomes second nature, but you take it for granted, like what it takes for you to survive in a city like this. I know there's a bunch of bigger cities, but I know a lot of folks, when they compare it, they say it's not the same. What would you say is the different type of pace between Philadelphia and New York?
Well, see, it's funny because really, at 19, I didn't know shit, you know? I didn't really know shit from shit. So, I mean, like, really, I kind of grew up in New York. Gotcha. And, like, moving up here it was such a shock, not just, leaving home. Like, I have a huge family, no one ever left there. Right. So it was a big step moving here. Then all of a sudden, I find myself paying rent. Where does toothpaste come from? It was always just there. It was always just there, Now, like, that shit runs out. I gotta go get that stuff. So, I mean, Sinatra was right, man. You can make it here, you can make it anywhere. I mean, those first few years, man, I lost like 30 pounds my first year of school because, money wasn't there. I remember, so this is funny. I was so broke. I remember I didn't eat for 3 days one time. And like I was too proud to call home for help. I was like, I'm here, man, I gotta figure this out. So I remember I was, Gray's Papaya. So I was living on 68th and Amsterdam behind the Met there, right? So on 72nd, I got the Gray's Papaya. So I'm 15 cents short for what was it, 50-cent dog back then?
Yeah, they did. But they used to have the recession special. Yeah, like $3.
Yeah, that was too much. That's fine living. That was fine living. So I didn't want to ask anyone for any. So I'm literally walking around the streets of 72nd and Broadway, and I found 15 cents eventually. Best hot dog I ever had in my life. Cut 10 years later, my pickup spot for this, I was shooting a commercial out in Jersey, and I'm sitting across from the Gray's Papaya, getting ready to make a pretty good amount of money for about 3 hours of work. Right. And remembering that I was walking around looking for dimes on the street here. Full circle, man. Yeah.
Those full circle experiences.
Yeah. I haven't found a hot dog that tastes as good since. No.
I feel Gray's Papaya is the best.
It's so good.
I know a lot of
snappy
folks,
pups, man. I got snappy pups.
That little crumble, that little.
Now I might go there after here. Well, listen,
I might go over there and find me a recession over here. That's crazy. So these fines about New York again. It's again the other thing too. Like I commend anybody that just picks up and leaves here, and just what would you say was the most difficult? Was the difficult part of transitioning from like being in a small town to coming to a big city? Because you came in basically like off and running.
Yeah.
What would you say was the biggest transitioning part of that to that type of your background?
Well, it's like I think I was always meant to be here. And city life.
Gotcha.
It was always something. I was like 10 minutes outside of Philly, so we were there a lot. But yeah, it wasn't outside my door per se. But I was always yearning for it, and I think it was just when I got here, it was just like there was nothing else. So like everything was a struggle, but I was like happy to be doing it. I was the night before I moved up, I was nervous, and I was always like, I'm going. The night before, I'm like, man, I know this is probably it. I'm probably not coming back here, whatever. Yeah. And like, I don't know, because Philly was a tough spot. It's got softened up a little bit, but in the 90s, it was a pretty tough spot. I was like, I don't know what New York's gonna be like. And I'm like driving up, and like As soon as I pull in the city, my dad almost hits a homeless guy. All my stuff's in the van, comes flying up on top of us. I'm like, what am I doing here, man? I'm freaking out.
Right.
And I come pulling up to my apartment, and my roommate at the time, he was from Philly, he slides in the window and goes, yo, the place looks great. And I was like, peace. Mom, Dad, see you guys, get out of here. I'm in, no looking back.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Your father, big influence on your life.
Huge,
you would say.
Absolutely.
What part of your dad's personality would you say is you pulled from the most? Because I know my dad was very, he was very warm and inviting to people that he knew, but he did have kind of like an exterior about him, like a don't fuck with me type of
Sure.
attitude. But he was always very reassuring and encouraging. That's one thing, and I think that's why I'm always very, positive thinking.
Super positive.
What part of your dad's personality would you say you kind of like?
Yeah, well, something that sticks out for me with my pop. So he's the kind of guy, he's gonna hold a room when he goes in. Like he's like, when I was a kid, I always felt not safe around him physically. I mean, yeah, that
right.
too, but we'd walk in somewhere and like there's no awkward silence. This guy would pick it up.
Yeah.
Like I'd watch him go. Like I'd walk in like someone and I just like, oh, my dad's gonna take this. He's gonna make them feel comfortable.
Yeah.
He's gonna make everyone feel comfortable. And I remember I moved to New York. I was dating this girl and we're in a deli or something. Like it's this silly nothing conversation. But I remember like she just got like clammed up a little bit and and all of a sudden I just saw it. I was like, oh, that's my dad that I got.
Yeah.
I was like, I can walk in anywhere and kind of get something flowing,
right.
And just like kind of be very natural with taking away any awkwardness and,
right.
Yeah.
The icebreaker. The
icebreaker. That's my dad's new nickname, the icebreaker.
The ultimate icebreaker, you know what I mean? Pops, just let him know, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Acting school, that whole learning the craft, how important was that to you, and how much of that do you use to apply when you're looking for a role? Extremely.
I'm back in class right now. You never stop. But yeah, I remember so back in Philly, I played sports, played football, baseball, and they took it so seriously, like
it's a big deal down there.
Yeah, like, hardcore. And acting, although it was taken seriously, it was like, a little lighter. And I wished that I found it somewhere that took it the way that sports was.
Sure.
And when I came to the Neighborhood Playhouse, it was a 2-year program, Sanford Meisner technique, a lot to do with listening and connecting,
Gotcha.
Organic. It's methody, but it's not, methody. It's more about,
the energy somebody gives
exactly.
Off to you,
And that's what this school was for me, man. It was 5 days a week, school from 8 in the morning till 6. We get there 2 hours earlier, working hard, staying afterwards.
Gotcha.
And it was immersive, man. And I was like, I was happy, man. It was a grind, but it was the foundation for what I do, and I always keep going back to it, and you never stop. It's like working out. You got to keep that muscle in shape. So
keep the memory.
That's right.
The memory pumping.
That's right.
Has there ever been any roles that you've turned down because they were too either challenging or uncomfortable?
No. I had to get naked on stage. I had to do a play. My family came in. First scene, I'm buck naked on the stage. And I don't usually get nervous. And I wasn't even, it was just like my fucking mom and dad are out there. They saw me naked, but not in a long time. Right. I was like, maybe you guys are a little late to this one.
Yeah, not since the move.
Yeah. I mean, if the challenge, the more challenging the role, the better for me.
Right.
I love that. But if it's done properly and it's telling a story, I can get behind it 100%. So
I feel you. Yeah. I've spoken to like a lot of like yourself, a lot of our friends, mutual friends, are actors as well. What would you say is the difference between acting for a TV show or commercial? How do you draw the energy, and what is it like drawing the energy from a live crowd when you're performing? Right.
So I mean, it was funny when I first came to New York that people would say like, oh, acting for camera is different than stage. It's smaller, and I guess to a certain extent it's true, but it's. I mean, look, I walk on stage. I've played 600-seat theaters. I've played black box.
Sure.
You fill the room.
Right.
And I guess that's maybe just over time becomes natural instinct.
Right.
You don't try to fill the room. You got to do it.
Right.
So it just comes out. If it's got to come out a certain way. If it's here, it can be you know.
Right.
You know, but I think Pacino or De Niro, one of them said that acting in front of the camera is the loneliest place.
Really?
But because it's about everything else.
Yeah,
you know, you're sitting there like, you know, think, do we get the light? Do we get cool? You know, cut, do it again. I love the feedback of a live audience, man. I live for it, and I'm glad we're coming out of this pandemic. I look forward to get back on the boards again and feeling that, you know, telling that story. Because I've been on the other side, seeing Philip Seymour Hoffman, you know, at the Circle in the Square.
Oh,
and
may he rest in peace.
You know,
man.
feeling that connection on both sides, it's like a special thing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. I actually caught an off Broadway show a couple of weeks ago. Maybe 30 people. Fucking great.
Nice, right?
Great storytelling. The writing was excellent. The acting was incredible. It had like a suspenseful ending. The name isn't coming to mind right now, but it was incredible. And that's one thing I like about New York is that even off Broadway, we just
good stuff
feed
out
to
there.
know like how to make it happen.
Yeah.
Do you think that has a lot to do with the audience that attends, or do you think it's just?
You mean the connection between the audience? Sure. I mean, look, I've done a lot of Sunday matinees with an older crowd, some controversial material. I did In the Heat of the Night. I played the bad guy, and you know the story. In the Heat of the Night, the South, and I had people walking, 4 or 5 people walking out every show. So I'm just gonna take a moment. You guys shut the door. All right back at it. So I mean, you know, there's definitely, you know, there's going to be some better crowds than you know, but for the most part, people are coming to see it. They're open-minded, but yeah, they vary for sure.
Ooh,
yeah,
that's a fact. I cannot agree with you more, my guy. I cannot agree with you more, my guy.
You ever bomb on stage?
I had okay, so I'll tell you a funny story. So we were at a Video Music Box 25th anniversary. No, 30th anniversary. So they had like this cypher. So I used to perform, right? So they give you this instrumental and then you got to come up with your verse and then you got to perform it. So I fucking choked up in the middle. But like I was so innate to be like, just get to the next one. Right? So even when I watch it and replay it back, like I know where I fucked up, but some people didn't. And it was like, oh, that kind of like killed the interaction, but then I kind of caught, you know, I kind of brought them back in with everything else.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been in front of people where you get no reaction. I've been in rooms where there's only like 2 people that listen to you.
Yo, that's how you know you got the drive when you get up there doing that stuff.
I did have an A&R rep one time. I was at a little small spot on the Lower East Side, and one of the dudes there was worked for an A&R rep at Def Jam, and gave me his number. So nothing, you know, amounted from it, but.
Hey, you never know.
That's the thing about this city. I tell people all the time.
You gotta be ready when that light shines on you, right?
Like right now,
That's
you know,
right,
the lights shining up. You know, little rooftop.
Yeah.
But how does it feel? Have you ever bombed? Like,
oh man, so I jumped into stand up for a little bit, and it's great. It's wild. Doing your own.
I could never do stand up.
Yo, let me tell you. Man, so I used to work at a comedy club back in the day when I was first in school at the comic strip on the other side.
Shout out to the comic strip, man.
Yeah, legendary old spot.
Legendary.
Yeah, granddaddy. So I finally decided to dip my toe in. I just go do this open mic, my first show, and I've been sitting on like some jokes for a while, and it goes really well. Like, you know, that's probably the worst thing that could have happened because like I'm good. I'm a natural. So I was like, I got this. So I go to the next spot, and it's a higher level spot, and there's a lot of comics there who are, and I got up there and I bombed so hard. Like like I was outside of myself. I got hearts in my throat, and I'm just getting like, I finish it off.
You got 4 minutes left. Like, come on.
I left that place. I literally talked out loud to myself for like 5 blocks. I was like, wow. I was like, all right, okay, whew. That was whoa. I mean, it was wild. But I felt alive. I knew I was alive.
Hey, listen.
I was bleeding, but I was alive.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's a direct to consumer response. Like, oh, I don't like your fucking joke.
This is me.
Boo.
Yeah, this ain't the play that someone wrote that I'm in. This is my life that is not cool.
It's not like, you were pretty good. You were pretty good. You're like, I fucking really blew. No, you suck, my guy. Boo. So yeah, New York has a thing about it. Everybody holds their heart in their sleeve. Sports in general. You're a Philly connoisseur.
Yeah, boy.
Your boys finally have won a Super Bowl for the first time in a long time.
I can still, when I still hear it, like I'm telling you, it's something like it will. Man.
What type of weight was lifted off the family shoulders?
It's
watching
like,
it.
I'm telling you, man. It was something. So my grandmother, God rest her soul, she passed before it happened, right? But so my dad, like it was starting to like weigh on him, and he's like, I'm gonna die, and it's not gonna happen. Like, Dad, stop talking like that, blah blah blah, and it was crazy because going into that game, I remember my dad would tell me stories. He was at the '80 Super Bowl against the Raiders, and he said the minute they came out of the tunnel, I knew we were gonna lose. He's like, I saw their eyes; they weren't in it. So that always stuck with me. And then out come the Eagles to Meek, and I was like, it's a wrap. I was like, it's a wrap. I'm telling you, I'm watching this game. I'm down in Philly. We're at this beautiful place, Ben Franklin Bridge stretching out. My whole family's, my dad, my sisters, cousins, we're sitting there, and like everyone's freaking out. And I'm like, I was like, we're winning this game. My dad's like, I was like, yo, he's like, stop, John. I was like, yo, it's over. We celebrate.
He's trying to be like, no way.
Yeah, I'm partying in the streets. I was like, remember I used to walk like this before the Super Bowl? Now I'm walking like this. I was like, in it, right? I watched the replay 2 days later. I was shitting myself. I was like, what the? Are we gonna win this? What happened? I must have been on something that game.
Man.
But yeah, it was nice, man.
See, I remember the Rangers not winning a cup for 54 years, right? And that was like huge. And then like the Knicks were in the playoffs at the same time. And I think the only thing that would have trumped that was like the Knicks.
It's
like,
coming
winning.
for you someday, babe. I know what it's like. The chains will be released.
I'm trying to say, man, like come on.
It's
man.
Like one of the greatest franchise in the greatest city. They gotta come through for you. Is it Dawn? Is that the story?
You know what?
More
It's
than
funny because I had my previous guest, Yao G's. Shout out to Yao. He's a huge, emphatic Knicks fan like myself, and I'm in the percentage that it's not Dolan this time around.
Okay.
I really feel like he has like the right.
He's got the.
Like he hired the right guys. Whether they're doing the job correctly, that's really not on him.
He's okay.
I know
he's giving them the tools now.
Yeah.
He's not getting in the way.
I don't think he's been getting away for a while. I just think that the getting in the way would metaphorically be not hiring the right people.
Right.
My father always used to say, like, if you make a mistake and you learn from it, it's a mistake. If you don't learn from it, it's your behavior. So
that's good.
It's was kind of a behavioral thing where it's like, yeah, he's my friend, I'll hire him. Now I think it's more of, we got the guys in place. Now things have to, fall into play. We got to draft properly. We have to stay under the salary cap as best as possible because that's how the sport works. You're also a Philly Sixers fan, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
You got a stud. You got a stud.
Yeah. And when he's there, he's a stud.
Do you see a chip in their future? Do you think it's 1 or 2 moves away?
I mean, it's all comes down to Embiid staying healthy, and like, was this, Harden's been nice, they've had some games, and I think if he stayed healthy this year, Embiid, and if those guys played at their absolute best, right. Maxey throwing 30 down, Harris, everyone like
Harris has been a little disappointment.
Yeah, like he'll have flashes, and if they're all 100% doing their thing, like which it takes to win a championship for any team, and a little bit of luck, all the role players going to the max, then I think they had a shot, Embiid going down now. Looks like another.
I don't know. Listen, it's 5 days.
Yeah, hey, I'm staying positive. Yeah, let's see. That guy's a beast. I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna have the socks on. I'm gonna have the whole deal.
What's that Philly fans ain't positive, man? What's that thing?
We get a bad rap down there.
Get the heck out of here,
most of us get a bad rap.
Yeah. Do you think the Eagles had a good draft?
Well, we got A.J. Brown. That was key, man. We needed that big. I couldn't believe. I watched the game last year. He played against the Niners. He came back. I was like, this guy's a stud. Now he's ours. And then we got two of those Georgia defensive players. The linebacker.
Yeah,
nice.
I think they're gonna be
in the third round.
Good little crew. The NFC East is always a weird.
You guys are back on track. I think you got rid of Big Dave G.
Listen, I don't know, man. We have to. Yeah,
It seems like a very old school giant draft you guys had.
Yeah, get you a pass rusher, get you a little old lineman.
Yeah.
We'll pay for skill position, if you need it.
Yeah.
You know? But again, like I always think, I think football among any other sport is all the pieces have to be cohesive.
Yeah.
11 on defense, 11 on offense,
Yeah.
11 on special teams. Somebody gets hurt, you got to be able to have developed the talent enough for it to be a next man up thing where, you're not dropping off drastically in one spot or another.
Man, I miss the Giants being good, I gotta say.
Do you really?
I mean, probably not. I'm saying it now while you're down. I'm like, man, you guys, come on.
Yeah,
once you get back.
It's cool when you were good.
Yeah.
Then you get good. Nah, you know what? We really like it when you were good, Hold them down there, man.
Right.
Pump the brakes. He's good against everybody else.
I miss the idea of the rivalry.
The Philly-New York rivalry.
Yeah.
How do you feel? Is it highly? Is it okay? Is the New York Philly rivalry bigger than the Philadelphia Dallas rivalry?
All right, so down in Philly, Dallas is public enemy number one.
Hated,
and that's because there's Dallas fans in every city.
That's a fact.
So you go to your bar and you got the two guys, especially growing up in the '90s when they just ruined my year every year. It was just, and then you got like the one guy at the end of the bar and they were loud, they were in your face, So that's why Philly hates them so much. They were successful, and then they got these people who live in Philly who jumped a bandwagon. It's for the good team and they hate them. So I got that. Then I moved to New York. And now I'm surrounded with all the Giants fans. and the Giants start winning Super Bowls. In my face. And I was like, man, that rivalry heated up real quick. And it's great because these are all, you, Carrie, a lot of my great friends, all Giants fans. So when you get that going, and then that phone's like blowing up. Plax hits you up.
I'm not going to lie. When Tyrone Owen signed with the Eagles, Carrie texted me. And his words were, "We are fucked."
Yeah.
I was like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "I don't like this."
Man, what could have been?
I don't like this.
Could have been. With
I don't like this. I don't like this combination, man. I don't like it at all.
We should have got 2 or 3 out of that. That fell apart quick.
It happens,
First play from scrimmage, he had like a 90-yard touchdown. He was a beast. He averaged like a touchdown a year that year.
Me. He's like, "I don't like this. We're in trouble." I'm like, well, listen.
Then there were sit-ups in a driveway.
Speak to my agent.
It was a rat. Yeah.
That's my quarterback, man. That's my quarterback.
He's playing again, right?
Well, he's back in an arena league.
What is it like? You call and play, like you can call in plays or something like that.
Something like that. It's like an interactive virtual, could you imagine? It's like playing 2K.
Yeah.
Call in the audible.
No punts.
L2, fake punt, L2. That's what it is, man.
Yeah.
That's what it is. The last question before we get into the speed round. What is it like? What is the experience like when you're doing a show, a theater show, and the run is over? It's the last show. What's the feeling you get when it's over?
So there's a lot of emotions. You get really attached to a piece of work, to the people you're working with, the time you put into it. Some runs are longer than others, so you might be kind of ready sometimes. But artistically, it's always funny because, especially with these long runs, you come at this project with something, and then by the time you open up, you find something that works.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, that disappears, and you reattack. You go back to what you had, and then that doesn't work, and then you move beyond what you did, and then you think you got there, and then the play's over, and then you get home that night, and you're like, that wasn't it. This was it. And like, you know, they'll never, that's the process, that's how it goes. I'll look back on plays like, man, you know, that moment was this, not this.
Damn.
You know, yeah, so it's never over, man. It's never over.
It's never over.
Yeah.
Well, that's the interview part. So now.
So what's this? I'm a little nervous.
No, you know, we're in a corner store, you know. Corner store is an area where a lot of conversations happen, topics get thrown out,
yeah.
There's debates. So we have this little segment called This or That.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you 2 options. You pick one. No explanation needed.
Boom.
Okay, are you ready?
I think so.
Okay. So you're a Philly guy. If you had to go to, and I know eating a cheesesteak here is like almost like eating a slice of pizza, unless you on that cheap old fucking dollar bullshit. Right? All right or wrong?
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you a Pat's or a Geno's type of guy?
Pats.
Pat's. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to both. I'm more of a Pat's guy myself.
Yeah.
I like the chopped.
Yeah. Real nice. God, I'm hungry.
Catalog. De Niro or Al Pacino?
De Niro.
It's a good one.
Yeah,
Will,
tough.
I'm with De Niro too. Will Smith or Denzel Washington?
Denzel. He's the guy, man. He's the guy.
I try to tell a friend of mine. I hope he watches this video because I told him Denzel too.
Man, that guy.
That's the whole catalog. Everything he did and everything Will did.
Yeah.
Fresh Prince, everything.
Everything.
Everything Denzel.
Denzel, man. He's doing Shakespeare and like making it, you know.
Yeah. 2000 to 2020 NFL or 1980 to 99?
Ooh. 80 to 99. Right? Have to.
I prefer it.
Yeah.
I prefer it.
Fullbacks.
2 tight end sets.
Yeah.
Pass rusher.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. West Coast offense.
Not that many flags.
Not that, a lot of lookaways, you know. Like,
yeah.
Like,
helmet
hey,
slaps.
Yeah. Oh, chop blocks.
Yeah.
Oh, I take it any day of the week. NBA. 99. Wait, I'm sorry. 2000 to now or 99?
99.
99 down.
It. I knew you were going right here. Take it to the hole, baby. Take it to the hole. Throw some bows.
I feel you.
We're messed up, aren't we? It's like when people beat each other up.
You know what it is? I tell people all the time. I think the 2000s, that 99 to 2006 was kind of like the last, was the NBA at its best because it had the best talent and it was still
opening it up,
playing rough.
Yeah,
you know, it was still a lot more physicality involved. But I thought they had like talent across the board with the Iversons, the Kobe's.
That's our job now, right? That's our job to say, like, oh, let me tell you how it used to be.
Yeah!
Because the 80s, 90s, my grandfather was like, these guys are wimps.
You call that a foul?
I used to bite someone in the arm.
This guy fucking broke his wrist and didn't even get a tech.
We finally made it.
Allen Iverson or Dr. J?
Ooh. Oh, man.
Philly legends.
Man. Gotta go Iverson. That was tough to say, man.
That was tough to
say, yeah.
Holy
Dr.
crap.
J, man, when I was a kid, that guy is up on my wall, you know? But Iverson...
Both legends, man.
Yeah, I mean, Iverson's just, he's Philly, you know? He's the Brian Dawkins. He's the guy you want. He's the, you know? He encapsulates, the city. So, yeah, gotta go the answer.
Brian Dawkins or Seth Joyner?
Doc. Gotta go Doc. Love Joyner. Doc's, I mean, he's like, he's like probably the top of the food chain as far as Philly guys,
He might be the best safety ever.
Yeah.
I'm being honest. Like
yeah.
bring the pain and
bring the pain,
plays.
cover, and just like that non-stop motor, like, and no excuses,
Yeah. I hear you, man.
Wolverine.
Hey, listen. Francis Ford Coppola. You know where I'm going with this. You're going with Ford Coppola, or are we going with my man, New York, Scorsese?
Scorsese.
Scorsese?
Yeah. I mean, they're both great, but Scorsese.
What is it about Scorsese's storytelling that you like the best?
This guy is just, I don't know if I could put it into words, like, what? It's just beautiful, and smart and dirty.
And authentic.
Like, authentic, that's the word.
You know what I mean? Like, I really feel that. I kind of see that, like, in all the movies. Like, Goodfellas is an authentic New York gang movie, period.
Yeah,
The Departed,
there's no dressing around it.
There's no dressing around it. Like, that's what it was.
You can go back to
Is
that not a...
It's a great film, but I really feel like if you were from the Boston area, like, that's a very authentic style of storytelling.
Yeah.
Characters, the way the story built up.
It's...
And listen, Frank Coppola, Godfather, those movies stand the test of time.
Fantastic.
I'm with it. Yeah, we got one more question on the this and that, and then we got two more questions. Okay. Are you taking
a maniacal laugh before the question. Trouble.
Okay. Are you a steakhouse guy or are you a seafood guy?
Steakhouse. Give me that Peter Lugie's.
Peter Luger's? Peter Luger's is good.
Smith and Walensky, any of these classic. You walk in these places,
Which one do you take? Which one would you prefer?
Smith and Walensky. Chateaubriand. Forget it.
The best New York strip in New York City, man.
Yeah. Especially talking back to where I started with the hot dog on the street. I remember the first time I could go in there and pay for my own dinner there. I was like, give me a second, sir.
I feel
shit. Wipe a little tear away. Start out with this,
Pancake or waffle?
Pancake. Yeah. Stack them up.
I feel you.
Stack them up.
I feel you. So that ends the this and that. Did a pretty good job.
All right.
You did a pretty good job.
I think I'm sticking with those. I think I'll sleep tonight.
You got two more, and then we're out of here.
All right.
You have a dinner reservation for 5 people.
Okay.
You are one of the 5 people.
Mm-hmm.
Who are your 4 guests?
Living dead?
Dead or alive?
4 guests. I think I'm gonna go a cheap answer on this one. My 2 sets of grandparents, I think.
That's your 4?
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of people I like to pick their ear, but if this is going out and I'd like to get to sit down with them and have one more chance to pick their brains.
Yeah.
I think I would do that.
I always tell people all the time, like that. Somebody asks me, like, why would you ask a question like that? Because I always feel like those 4 people really signify like the fiber of who you are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a good representation of who you are as a person.
I did my best before they left to try to gather as much information.
Right.
And you still want more,
I know, man. That's how they are.
Yeah.
It's the last question. We throw this to everybody. You're a young man who came into New York in the 90s. You got $5, 5 beans. Go to the corner store for a run. What are you getting with your $5?
5 Lucy's.
You got 5. There you have it. 5 Lucy with the $5. My man Lawrence Jansen, man, thank you for coming on, man.
Pleasure, buddy.
Yo, I appreciate you. Tell the people
man.
where they could find you.
You see, you can check out, it's had a movie drop on Amazon Prime called Minion. Check that out. And then I got a new movie, Straighten Up and Fly Right, just opened at Slam Dance. Should be out soon, so keep an eye out.
Ooh, my brother. Stay blessed, man. Stay blessed, man.
Thank you.
We'll see you at the corner store.
All right.
Peace. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and comment. Hope you enjoy, and see you at the corner store. Peace.